The idea of the living nexus begins with the understanding that within every man exists a core junction point where his energy, creativity, and life force converge. This nexus is not external. It lives within the very essence of his being, and semen retention becomes the discipline through which this nexus is preserved and amplified. Creativity is often mistaken as a product of thought alone, but in truth, it is the outward expression of inner vitality. When energy is wasted through constant indulgence, the creative well dries up, leaving the man uninspired, restless, and searching for external stimulation. But when he conserves his seed, he feeds the nexus, and that conserved power becomes the raw fuel for innovation, vision, and self-expression. Semen retention, therefore, is not a denial of life, but a redirection of it, ensuring that the inner nexus remains vibrant and overflowing. Logic supports this. The body invests enormous biological energy into producing semen, energy that contains proteins, minerals, enzymes, and a concentration of vitality. To squander it recklessly is like burning currency without building wealth. To conserve it is to create a living bank of power that can be transmuted into art, leadership, discipline, or spiritual growth. The nexus is strengthened not through external validation, but through the conscious act of choosing self-control over self-saboteurs. One way to understand the living nexus is through the lens of great creators across history. Many artists, philosophers, and leaders spoke indirectly or directly about the necessity of conserving energy to produce great works. Nikola Tesla, for example, was known for his practice of celibacy, explaining that it allowed him to direct all his creative force toward invention. Similarly, spiritual masters across Eastern traditions describe semen retention as the preservation of awakens, the life essence that could be transmuted into creativity and spiritual insight. The logic here is clear. When energy is not expelled, it is redirected upward, activating the brain, sharpening thought, and deepening focus. This becomes evident in everyday life when men on retention report bursts of ideas, renewed energy for projects, and a heightened sense of purpose. To understand this better, imagine a dam holding back a mighty river. If the floodgates are constantly open, the river loses its force and spreads chaotically. But if the water is conserved and channeled, it can generate electricity, irrigate fields, and sustain life. Likewise, the nexus becomes most powerful when energy is directed, not dissipated. The creative essence conserved through retention becomes the electricity of the mind, illuminating paths once hidden in darkness. Let us consider a relevant story that illustrates the living nexus in action. There was once a young man named Art, a struggling writer who constantly battled procrastination and creative drought. He would often start stories but abandon them halfway, distracted by habits of indulgence that left him drained and unfocused. Frustrated, he turned to ancient practices and discovered the discipline of semen retention. At first, it was difficult. His body and mind resisted the change, craving the comfort of old patterns. But with time, he noticed something remarkable. His mornings became sharper, his mind clearer, and words began to flow onto the page with a vibrancy he had never experienced before. Within months, Arjun not only completed his first novel, but also began receiving recognition for his work. He later reflected that semen retention had not magically given him talent, but had unlocked a reservoir of creativity he already possessed by feeding the nexus of his being. His story demonstrates how conserving energy allows the living nexus to thrive, enabling a man to transform potential into reality. Logic again confirms this. Creativity requires focus, endurance, and clarity, all of which depend on vitality. Without energy, the mind is foggy, the will weak, and creativity suffocated. With energy conserved, the nexus is alive, and creativity flows naturally. Beyond personal creativity, semen retention strengthens the nexus in ways that radiate outward, influencing relationships, work, and spiritual depth. A man with a vibrant nexus exudes a magnetic presence that others instinctively recognize. His energy is not scattered, his attention not divided, and his presence not restless. This aura of stability comes directly from the conserved essence within him. Psychologically, people are drawn to such individuals because they radiate calmness, focus, and unspoken confidence. Women, in particular, often describe feeling safer and more grounded around men who practice retention because they sense a deep-rooted stability rather than neediness or desperation. Spiritually, the nexus becomes a bridge between the material and the transcendent. Retained energy can be channeled upward through meditation, fueling spiritual experiences, heightened intuition, and moments of profound insight. Logic supports this flow as well. The body naturally redirects unused energy towards cellular repair, hormone balance, and brain activity. Thus, semen retention is not just about self-control. It is about fueling every aspect of the nexus: body, mind, heart, and spirit. The result is a man who does not merely live, but radiates, inspiring others through his very being. On a practical level, living Nexus can be cultivated through a holistic lifestyle that supports semen retention. A man cannot simply conserve his energy and expect miracles without giving the Nexus pathways to channel the power. Exercise, creative expression, focused work, meditation, and service to others are the channels through which the Nexus flows. Without them, conserved energy stagnates, leading to frustration or restlessness. But when directed, it becomes unstoppable momentum. Consider how Arjun, from the earlier story, began to pour his energy into writing. His Nexus became a fountain of creativity because he gave his retained energy a worthy outlet. Similarly, men who train their bodies, practice breathwork, or pursue meaningful goals find that their Nexus becomes a dynamic source of transformation. The logic here is simple. Energy conserved must be energy used wisely. Just as wealth saved must be invested to grow, conserved vitality must be directed toward higher pursuits to unlock its full potential. The Nexus thrives on purpose, and semen retention provides the raw material for that purpose to manifest. Ultimately, the living Nexus is the bridge between conservation and creation. Semen retention serves as the guardian of this Nexus, ensuring that a man's deepest vitality is not wasted, but harnessed for growth, purpose, and legacy. The story of Arjun is not an isolated one. Countless men across cultures and time have discovered that conserving their creative essence transforms not only their productivity, but also their sense of identity. They become kings of their inner kingdoms, architects of their destiny, and sources of inspiration for others. The logic of it is undeniable. When energy is preserved, it strengthens. When it is squandered, it weakens. The Nexus is proof that a man's vitality is his greatest asset, and semen retention is the discipline that ensures it remains intact. In this way, the living Nexus is not merely a metaphor, but a lived reality, a place within every man where energy, creativity, and purpose converge. By conserving his essence, he fuels this Nexus, and by fueling it, he unlocks his truest potential. The fire of creation is already within. Semen retention simply ensures it is never extinguished. Before we conclude, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your location in the comments. I'd love to know where you're watching from. And if you ever have any questions, join our Telegram channel, where we interact directly and help each other grow. The link is in the description. This is a series of introspective and philosophical about semen retention, so don't for the next video coming soon Beyond the Urge. A deeper look at semen retention.